who's attuned to what's happening, who's read into everything that's going on, and who can make these decisions and multitask. And this guy obviously cannot do this. Joe Biden, this man's not fit to be our president. You know, he's continued to demonstrate to the entire world over and over the last 3.5 years that that's the case. Now we have the Hur report, completely different angle. You know, an appointee from his own DOJ that's basically saying the same thing now.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina agrees.
Even Joe Biden's own Department of Justice stated on the record that he wasn't mentally fit to be prosecuted. If you can't be mentally fit to be prosecuted for a crime you committed, how are you mentally fit to be president of the United States of America? There's a lot at stake here.
We're waiting to hear a decision from the Mississippi Supreme Court on the issue of spending public money on private schools. Bronson Woodruff has more.
Should private schools take public money? AFN talked about it with Shane Blanton, the executive director of the Mid-South Association of Independent Schools.
Public schools received an inordinate amount.
That spending was during the COVID lockdowns. $700+ million in additional funding came in around that time frame. Some of those federal funds were set aside for private schools. Blanton added that private schools also already receive federal money, predominantly in the form of Title II, which is professional development, and Title IV, which deals with financial aid for students going through higher education. Blanton also referenced the Blaine Amendment, which was a failed amendment to the United States Constitution. However, the Institute for Justice reports that 37 state constitutions do have the Blaine Amendment.
There's already a structure in place of federal money passing through the state to, i.e., private or independent schools. And so then to object to this and saying, no, we cannot do this, is the argument between, is it federal money, is it state money, sort of what's the difference, or should we even have this provision in our Constitution, and why was it there originally? So the two sides of the argument that I think are simple that I use with my schools, one is, you know, what are the strings attached with the money? The government is not just going to give money to parents, you know, in the form of school choice. You know, I know they advertise, would you like $7,000 to attend the school of your choice? But they're going to do it in the form of a voucher or some kind of a controlled process.
He said it's also controlled where that money goes, meaning it can only be spent at certain places and on certain things. I'm Bronson Woodruff.
Americans pulled back on shopping last month. Jenny Casola explains.
Retail sales declined in January, down 0.8%. Economists were predicting a drop because cold and wet weather in large parts of the U.S. kept people from shopping last month. But the decline was even larger than forecast. Excluding autos, the decline was 0.6%. Fluctuations in gas prices were not a big factor. Excluding autos and gas, the drop was still 0.5%. The weaker January retail sales numbers follow a strong December. Jenny Cosola, Fox News.
More news online at AFN.net and download the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty P.
Well, good evening, everyone, everywhere. You're tuned to First Amendment Radio, and this is Far Out. That is First Amendment Radio Out, being the last program of the day, with me, Nicholas, for Nick at Night. We are just going to, I don't really have a topic tonight, so we're just going to do current events and whatever happens, really. Thank you, Scattered Sheep, for the sound check there. Everything's good. We're online everywhere, and everything is working. Yay. But like I said, just probably going to look at some current events and other things. We spent our last two broadcasts talking about the Antichrist. I got off on prophecy, and I had to complete that. So I hope everyone enjoyed that thoroughly and learned something about the Antichrist. One of my jobs that the Heavenly Father has called me to is to out the Antichrist, because not very many people are doing that. Because once you name the Antichrist, people think you're cuckoo. You don't get the numbers anymore, because people run as fast as they can. I don't know whether they're afraid or they've been so propagandized that they just can't believe it. They just can't believe that the Antichrist is the Antichrist. And even though he and his adherents, his shadow government, and others have been working for 500 years to propagandize people into not accepting what the reformers discovered in the 16th century, when they discovered who the Antichrist was. Well, he didn't like being called the Antichrist, so the rest is history, as we say. But it is amazing that everybody is. I think they're rightly afraid, because I'll tell you, everybody's hearing about shadow banning and outright banning for the last few years, especially since 2020, and how people have been deplatformed and debanked. But all those things have been happening to me since 2008, when I became a true Protestant, which means to protest, or in another language, the word is witness. That's right, a witness, and a witness against the Antichrist. So we're supposed to not merely call out evil, but to oppose evil in this world wherever we can find it. So we become protesters against the Antichrist and his shadow government, his great apostasy, and his adultery with all the rulers of the earth, which he committed openly for 1,260 years. Of course, having such a notoriety brought a lot of attention. So the Antichrist and his shadow government, they learned the lesson from history when they received a direct punishment for their overt burning of heretics and ruling of nations and picking kings and queens and trying practically to rule the world, burning Bibles and claiming an office that that no one but God could have on earth. Yes, of course, I'm speaking of the Vatican, the papacy, and its Roman Catholic Church. That is the Antichrist, and the great apostasy that Paul was talking about in 2 Thessalonians 2. So these people out here, they don't know anything, because now if they openly ban you and debank you, that means they don't mind bringing attention to you, because they know what they're doing. Because those are the people they want you to pay attention to if you're going to rebel against the Antichrist and rebel against what they want to do. Well, they have their controlled opposition. As long as you're not looking at them, that's step number one. As long as you're blaming someone else, helping them with their culpable deniability, the cover that they throw, or the layers of people and institutions that they use for cover to cover their deeds. The Antichrist and his shadow government are the most corrupt organization on the entire planet, because they own the money and they run the money. They would never let you know that, though. But there's plenty of evidence in history that they do and that they are. And they are using that money to corrupt everything that they can. Anything, especially anything that opposes them, like America, with its founding documents and the liberties to the people. A lot of rebellious people in America, according to the Antichrist. He hates America. He hates what it stands for, and he is definitely trying to destroy it. So, yeah, I know about it. I know about shadow banning and monetary banning. I know what it's all about. But they won't. They just keep shadow banning. That's all they do is shadow ban and ignore you if they really don't want people to pay attention to you. Yeah. The ones that they don't care about, who always trumpet the boogeymen and the organizations and institutions that they use for cover, that's fine with them. But there is a day coming, and the Revelation tells us to, because it calls us Mystery Babylon harlot. It says that the nations of the old world, specifically it says the 10 horns, which are the 10 divisions of the nations of the old world, are going to turn on the whore before Christ comes and destroy her with fire. That means a complete destruction. But apparently the false prophet, the antithesis of the true prophet, because the true prophet was that prophet that Moses told Israel that was coming. And Israel recognized that true prophet that Moses spoke of as their Messiah. So the false prophet would be the antithesis, the one who takes the place, the Antichrist, the man of sin. Let's see. Well, good to see some people showing up for tonight's broadcast. I'm just going to do this almost every night. I know I did take last night off. I took the day off yesterday from doing live broadcasts. I was just simply exhausted, and just the thought I felt like I had nothing to give yesterday. So I did rebroadcast an older program in that time slot on First Amendment Radio. Let me see who I got over here in this chat room on YouTube here. SMT, Scattered Sheep. Guys having a conversation over here. Yeah, I truly believe it is the Lord to bring into understanding after he led me of Jimmy Swaggart ministry. Yeah, old weeping Jimmy Swaggart. That's right. I hope he truly repented. Yeah, I really hope nothing but the best for everyone, no matter what they've done with their lives. Hey, I don't know. I may have made worse mistakes in my life than Jimmy Swaggart. Just thank God that all the mistakes I made didn't happen in public. I mean, I don't really know what he did, but I know he was disgraced and he was crying publicly, repenting publicly, I guess, with tears. I hope he found it. Yeah. Unlike some others that repented with tears but could find no place for it in them. That's a sad story. All right, well, let's look at some news, since I'm just going to do news, and we'll look at Babylon Bee first here. I've got a couple emails from there because I haven't been looking at it in several days. I just keep really busy regardless. Anyway, let's see. 10 signs you are a dangerous Christian nationalist. And that reminds me, I forget who it was. Somebody sent me some links to this guy called, let's see, I got it up here in a tab, I think. Is this the tab here? Oh, yeah, the Dance of Life podcast. Yeah, that's right. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, that's right. He's kind of put out the alarm that there's going to be a national, the Christian nationalist thing is part and parcel of the great apostasy that's going to overcome the whole world and get people to believe in the millennium, and everybody's going to be deceived into it, something like that. And no, I think the Antichrist, it is true to a certain degree. Let me see, James in Ohio. Let's see what James in Ohio said before I pick up on that. He says, I'm here too, James in Ohio. Okay, good to see you, James in Ohio. I'm glad you did show up. And I know there are people listening that can't text or call in, but because they're at work or whatever, but listening anyway. But anyway, going back to this, yes, the Antichrist is going to deceive a lot of people, and it will nationalize Christianity in much the same way that Constantine did. And then, of course, we know what the result of national Christianity is. It is a greater apostasy because of the nature of the state is to lord it over and force people into your brand of Christianity. But in the kingdom of God, even on earth, there is no force. That's right. It's all voluntary. So how do you know if you belong in his kingdom? You volunteer for everything that God wants, and you do it gladly and happily. Even if it hurts, you still thank God for it. Yeah, because he's looking for the volunteers. That's how we know who the elect are, because they happily volunteer to be obedient to God to the best of their ability, and even knowing that they cannot ever be good enough to earn the gift of God. And so not only are they happy to volunteer to try to do their best to live according to God's will, they accept the fact that they will never reach perfection in this life, but that they will be in a state of being perfected for the rest of their lives, and that they can only give God the credit for that. But that's not how Christian nationalism works, where they try to legislate morality, kind of like what the papacy did for 1260 years in Western Europe. Burning books and burning Bibles and inquisitions and burning people at the stake. Yeah, and committing genocides, things like that. And, any genocide that's ever happened, especially in recent history, because people are connecting the genocides that have happened in the last several hundred years with their source. But I can tell you, you will find the Antichrist and his shadow government behind every genocide that happens, even the one that's happening over there in the Mideast now. No, it's not Hamas. No, it's not Israel. Israel doesn't run the Vatican. It is the Antichrist that runs the whole Zionist scheme. It's one of its major covers or for culpable deniability in the world, especially in Washington, D.C. They use the Jews as a major cover in Washington, D.C. because they own Washington, D.C. I mean, Washington, D.C. may as well be, the Vatican City number 3 because it is. Yeah. So you'll see a lot more of the Jewish cover over there, the Zionist cover. And then a lot of people are genuinely deceived into Zionism as part and parcel of the Christianity that they learned from the pulpits, from the radio, from the media, not realizing all the time that all of these people are trained and bought and paid for by the Jesuits, the shadow government, the Jesuits, and all of the money on earth but they have to back them up. But what are we going to learn? A lot of people go, well, why do all the evil people have the money? Yeah. Why do they have? Why don't I? If I had more money, I could do more for God. No, you couldn't. God is in total, complete control of everything. Money will not win. And we can see how money is self-defeating. The power of money being used to try to rule the world. You can see just how corrupting that influence is. And especially this fiat usury money that Satan has cooked up. Yeah. And that has overtaken the whole world now. I mean, we are set for CBDC, folks. And, it's coming. It's already here. Let me see. I got an article here. I got off on this. Let me see where. Oh, here it is. This article is from Sovereign Man. Okay. It's called now Shift Sovereign. But anyway, let's see. Imagine. Okay. Where did we stop? Okay, imagine life can often feel pretty difficult for today's high school students. On top of dealing with classic teenage drama like homework, hormones, pimples, parents, driving, dating, university selection, and more. Good God, there is more, isn't there? Students these days have to contend with a host of new challenges. They suffered long periods of brutal lockdowns. Active shooter drills are a normal part of student life. And, of course, there's the nonstop anxiety and peer pressure of social media. Plus, on top of everything else, students today have been force-fed some pretty bizarre ideas. Classical literature, advanced mathematics, and hard sciences have taken a backseat to social justice, climate justice, economic justice. I like the way they like to throw justice in there, like that makes it just. Yeah, it makes just us for them that are at the top and on the receiving end of all the graft that's going on. But anyway, economic justice, etc., as defined by the woke, fanatical left. But there are early signs that this indoctrination is starting to break new ground. Yesterday, a close friend of mine who lives in Spain told me that his son, a high school senior, has been getting lessons in school about central bank digital currencies. I wonder if that's happening in America. Huh. Anybody know out there? Got any teenagers in public schools? We don't have any here. All of our teenagers are homeschooled here. So, yeah. But anyway, so they're getting lessons at school about central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. So they're grooming the next generation already so that when they come out, they'll be groomed totally for CBDCs and think it's a normal thing and that there's nothing wrong with it. And so we may not accept it, especially us older folks, and then some more liberty-minded people who don't want the government telling them what to eat and what to drink and where to live and how much electricity they can use and where they have to spend their money and how much time they have to spend their money before it expires. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. That's right. That's what they want. Yeah, and what if you're not happy? Oh, they probably got a plan for you. An indoctrination center or maybe a euthanasia clinic, Yeah. I mean, a euthanasia clinic that leads to a furnace, what's the difference between that and Nuremberg? Not Nuremberg, but some of those places where they burn Jews and other dissidents, because it wasn't just Jews. But so if you're not familiar with the concept, CBDC is essentially a cryptocurrency that is controlled by the government and central bank. And so far, at least, half a dozen CBDCs have been rolled out around the world, including in Russia, China, and India. Do they have CBDC? No cash in Russia? No cash in China? And no cash in India. I do know about India with their Aadhaar system. Thank you, Bill Gates. Yes, he wants it everywhere. He's one of the main movers for the Antichrist shadow government in the world. See, the Antichrist makes sure that certain people can get rich and keep their riches. Other families that would oppose the Antichrist and have a lot of money, or they get rich, the Antichrist within a few generations can steal all that wealth from any family, no matter how rich they are. And they do. That was written into their instructions 400 or 500 years ago, simply how to do that, and they have been doing it for 500 years. Now, governments today already have the means to track you and monitor your finances. They can force financial institutions and credit card issuers to turn over your entire financial history. They can order banks and brokerage firms to freeze your assets. And if you remember what happened in Canada during the Freedom Convoy protests, Justin Trudeau Castro used his emergency powers to cut the protesters off from the financial system. They had no access to their bank accounts, ATMs, or even crowdfunding platforms. Governments already have the power to do all of these things. But CBDCs take this power to a much higher level because there is no more middleman. Government authorities would have to bother going to the banks, brokerages, and credit card companies. They could simply deactivate your funds with a mouse click. But as it is now, they have to follow the law, or a lot of these institutions, because the Vatican bankers, the Vatican Bank's Federal Reserve in the U.S., has a monopoly on banking. So, of course, they're going to all acquiesce to whatever the ruling class wants. And they do. Yeah. We've all seen it. But CBDs take it on a higher level. So have fun trying to buy groceries. And oh yes, don't forget about reverse interest. And having to spend your money because there's a time limit on it. It will expire 30 days or 60 days after you earn it and it was deposited in your account. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Secrets of the Rapture. Is there a 500-year-old conspiracy? A propaganda machine so pervasive and entrenched, yet so elusive that the entire world could be taken in by it, working in plain sight, but unseen by the world for what it truly is? If prophecy is God-given history in advance, why does the prophecy that has conquered the age also exclude nearly 2,000 years of history? What is it that they are afraid that the light of history will reveal? To understand our place in time and prophecy, we must look in history for an interpretation, that which stands the test of time, that which agrees with the Word of God, and history has proven to be true. When cunning fables and fearful speculations are removed from our sight, then we may clearly see what is truly expressed in Bible prophecy, both that which has been fulfilled and that which has yet to come. God's express word is the sword that must be wielded to remove the scales from the eyes and dispel the darkness of deceitful conjecture. Secrets of the Rapture was written to expose that which the spirit of the age has conjured out of the darkness to blind the eyes of the church in the world today. Secrets of the Rapture, Deconstructing Pre-Tribulation Dispensational Futurism by yours truly, Nicholas Arthur, is now available at lulu.com and Amazon. Secrets of the Rapture.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Okay, we're back. We're talking about CBDCs. We finished this article here. Have fun trying to buy groceries. Yes, because they can simply deactivate your funds with a mouse click. Now, even though only a handful of CBDCs have been rolled out around the world, there are over 100 central banks that are developing their own CBDCs. And that includes both the United States and the European Union. He says, my friend's son, again a high school senior in Spain, explained that his teachers are absolutely gushing over the idea of CBDCs. In a class which covers banking, mortgages, and the financial system, they're telling the kids that probably within a year, the new digital euro will be rolled out. And eventually, it will become mandatory. Yes. Eventually, it will become mandatory. Cash will cease to exist, and all money will be registered with the European Central Bank. Now, in America, CBDCs are against the law right now as the law stands. Of course, there are a lot of things going on that are against the law as the law stands, especially the Constitution. So we know how that goes. We have to resist. We have to fight. And we will, hopefully, until the day that Christ returns. Hopefully. We won't have to give up the fight. Or we may have to go underground. And yes, there's nothing to be afraid of for God's people. And for those that aren't God's people, they think this is a great thing. They'll get free money from the government. That's right. And for all of you that have invested in Socialist Security and you're getting your Socialist Security check, don't worry. Social Security, one, is going broke, so it's a good thing that you have a pension, right? Oh, no. They're going to be talking about means testing. Right now, they don't talk about it because Social Security is going broke and they don't want to talk about it. But they admit that it's going broke, but they don't want to tell you because they have to be voted into office, a lot of them. And they don't want to upset the voters by saying that, we're going to have to means test Social Security, speaking of CBDC, and the way the future is going with money. And so they're going to means test it, meaning that, because I know a lot of very rich people that have a lot of assets and a lot of income or pensions, but they're collecting Social Security too. That's all going to disappear because they're going to means test it. And if you don't need it, you won't get it because the law says that they don't have to give it to you. You may have thought you were entitled to it, but they call it entitlements because if they means test it, well, that'll be the new measure for entitlement. And then if you need it, it's going to be because you have nothing. Yeah, eventually. And also, if they means test it, it means that you're going to have to fill out forms and tell them what you have, everything you have coming in. You're going to have to fill out a 1040 or some kind of means testing inquisition form, a financial inquisition form. Already, they got you used to that already. I mean, don't you fill out a 1040 inquisition form every year anyway? Yeah. So the inquisition continues. Only it's a financial inquisition. Only then they won't have to ask you because all other forms of money are going to be outlawed and have to be registered with the central bank digital currency owners. Yes, you will own nothing. And you will be happy. And if you're unhappy, well, that's just too bad. As far as they're concerned, they would be happy because they own everything. I mean, we have to rent it from somebody, don't we, Klaus? Don't we have to rent it from somebody? Ah, I see. And, what about eventually? Won't they take all the money from all the billionaires and redistribute all the wealth? No, it's funny how that always works out in communism. There's always a higher class of people that have all the money and everything they want, need live like rich fools, while the rest of the world, yes, are brought down to the lowest common denominator and become virtual slaves to those that are allowed to remain rich. Yes, and they don't need that many rich people as we have now. You think about all these people that want communism in America because they have too much money and they feel guilty or something, or maybe they're just megalomaniacs. Yeah. So cash will cease to exist and all money will be registered with the European Central Bank. So looks like it will come in the Euro, the European Union first or next. Like I said, they already have it in China. They say Russia. I didn't know that about Russia, but likely do, I guess. I don't know. But I know they have it in China, and I know they have it in India. Okay, just checking out the chat rooms here. Seeing nobody saying anything, okay? So we'll just continue. Europe's army of bureaucrats will know what's happening in real time to every single euro in existence. Well, that's what they want. That's what the Antichrist wants in the whole world. Because when it gets right down to it, they really are the ones. It's not the Federal Reserve. Yes, the Federal Reserve has a monopoly on banking in the United States. We used to be a free country, where if you wanted to, you could go out and open up your own bank. Yeah. And you could take, save people's money and invest it for them in your bank. But that's not how it is anymore. Try opening your own bank. It's against the law. Yeah. It's not a free country if you can't open your own bank. Just look what they did to that private vault in LA that had all those private safety deposit boxes. That was outside the Federal Reserve. They did not like that. Yeah, they own all that stuff, and they want to own it all. They don't want you to have any place that's private to keep your treasure away from them. They want it all, and they want control of it all. Okay, so their army of bureaucrats will know what's happening real time. Financial privacy will be a thing of the past. The teachers express utter joy about this, and the curriculum seems designed to get the kids excited about it too. Yeah. They say the digital euro represents incredible progress and that it will make life easier and simpler. Yeah, it will be easier and simpler. You won't have to have money in your pocket. And they'll take care of it all for you through facial recognition or whatever they do to decide if you have their mark when you go into a business or something. If you're marked as one of theirs, if your ID says you belong to them and you're A-okay with them, you get to spend the money in their bank account that they keep for you, because you will own nothing. You won't even own your money. And see, we don't own our money in America anymore unless you have real gold or silver coin. Cash, you don't really own that, but you do have privacy and you have possession. Digital CBDC, you actually have nothing. You possess nothing. You possess rights to the money unless they decide that you're not worthy of any rights to the monetary system because, let's say, you don't agree with the medical industry on this or that, or you don't want to lie and tell people that they are something they're not by, and repeat pronouns and support a fantasy, or let's see, what else is it? Or you might not believe that the last election was quite fair. You might be an election denier. You might be a climate denier. You might be a vaccine denier. You might be a lot of things that you are not allowed to deny. Yeah. And you'll find that you have expired. That you're not allowed to participate in the monetary system that is run by the Antichrist and his shadow government anymore. And you will have to go underground to an underground economy. That will be the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is what the Bible says, that they will kill you. They will put you to death as an enemy of mankind. That's what we're looking at, folks. Right now, you're just excluded. You're debanked. All your money's expired. Yeah. That's what they're working on. And they've got your children in public schools excited about it. Progress. Everything will be better. And eventually it will become mandatory. And then they'll have those 80,000 revenue agents out making sure that nobody's, doing any illegal transactions outside the digital monetary system without a permit. Because to trade, if you want to trade an automobile for, 100 pounds of rice or something like that, well, you just might have to go to jail for that. Yeah. You enemy of mankind. They say the digital euro represents incredible progress, that it will make life easier. Businesses will be able to collect payments more easily. You will be able to spend everywhere directly from your phone, and maybe cut out the need for credit cards or even traditional bank accounts. You won't even need your phone. Your face, when you walk into an establishment, they will know you're there by facial recognition. Your bank account, it'll all be connected. Or if you're a rebel and you go into a traditional store, you may not even be able to go to the store because they're after you for operating on the black market or making illegal trades. That's right. Illegal exchanges, FinCEN, financial, crime network. You'll be part of a crime network. That's what they want for us. So we need to tell our children, all our friends, our businesses, everybody that we need to use as much cash as we can and to fight against CBDC as much as we can. I don't see, like I said, I've studied prophecy, and I see America in the Revelation, and America as a nation in the Revelation, yes, it has an evil side, but it equally has a side that resists evil. And the resistance seems to be it seems that it's going to be equal throughout the existence until Christ comes. Yeah. That's one way you can look at it. It's a very viable interpretation if you want to get into it. So that means that, yes, we should resist and we should never give up. As a matter of fact, our resistance is required to keep America from falling all the way like India and China and like Europe is going right now with the euro. God's people must resist, and we must get everyone else that we can to join in our resistance until Christ comes. And yes, prayer, definitely. Talking with God, because that's what prayer is. And we should be talking to God all day long in everything we're doing. And even singing praise songs to him and hymns and psalms and praise to him all day long. He should be our constant companion no matter what we are doing, because we are his people. We are his children. He is our Father. And getting prayer groups or Bible studies in homes, churches meeting house to house, yes, that's going to have to happen too, because we see the trend in China about what happens when you have total control, total communism, because that's what CBDC is. It's total communism, because it grants them all the power that the communists of the past never had. They say, oh, well, we can do it right this time. Yeah, you trust these people? You think they're good? Or do you think they're evil? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty much decided on what I believe the ruling class of this world is evil and corrupt. And they're murderers. Yeah. Because they'll kill you in a minute. Because murder is in their hearts. Yes, I thank God for the prayer warriors out there. The ones that are out there that pray continually. Scattered sheep in the chat room. Let's see. They will also say that CBDCs will be an effective way to control money laundering. They don't need to money launder anymore. Now the evil people, the criminals, own the monetary system, see? Now that they own it, they don't want anybody doing, and plus everything you do outside of it will be money laundering. Yeah, so, of course, that's what they want to control. Criminal activity. And terrorist financing. Yeah, they have a monopoly on terrorism. They don't want anybody else messing. They want to decide where the terrorism happens. They are the ones who to finance it and do finance it. They are the ones who commit genocide. They have the money. They are the criminals. They just don't want any competition. That's why when they explain to the students, the EU has already begun to crack down on cash and crypto transactions over 1,000 euros. Yeah, I think it's even going lower than that. Yeah, you got to report. Now, I think in the EU and not in European Union. No, not that. The British Isles. The UK, that's what I was thinking of. The United Kingdom. I think you have to report anything over 500 pounds or something. I forget exactly what it is, but it's some small amount. I mean, it's like now they've been trying to get it passed, but it didn't pass, where every transaction over $600 has to be reported. But you know, since, what was it, 21 years ago, $600 had the purchasing power of $1,200 today. So they keep halving the value of the money. I think it's about every 20 years your money is worth half of what it was the 20 years prior. But they want to keep lowering them to the amount that you have to report. So that's just, you know, multiplying the effect of the control that they want or any control that they get. It says, according to my friend's son, most students in his class appear pretty excited about CBDCs. Hardly anyone seems fazed by the loss of privacy or increased government authority over their lives. Yeah, that's because they're children in school. They think they're going to just be able to get to buy and sell and do everything the way they've been doing it, or their parents have been doing it. But when they turn off your money because you didn't say somebody's pronoun or something like that, you know, if you get fined, social credit score goes down or something, and you can't participate in this or that or buy meat because, you know, you're creating too many unicorn farts with your lifestyle, they'll be thinking otherwise pretty quickly. But like I said, this is the one world government's, you know, this is their wet dream to have CBDC and this total control. But people, it's going to be trouble for them. Yeah, I can see that eventually, because people are going to resent it. And so I can see trouble coming. Yeah. They're never going to be able to get what they want. They keep trying and they keep pressing and they seem to get a little more and a little more, but there's going to come a breaking point where it's just not going to work. The author here continues, but intelligent people, including my friend and his son, clearly see where this is going. We've already seen people lose their jobs, be canceled off the internet for wrongthink. We've seen people frozen out of their bank accounts for standing up for their rights. Frankly, the brutal use of the Prime Minister's emergency powers against the Freedom Convoy protesters in Canada should have served as a giant wake-up call. If you hold your life savings in the financial system of your home country, you're already taking an unnecessary risk. If you're holding any of your wealth in government institutions, the banking system in America, you're taking an incredible risk. This means that having some savings outside of the financial system is a completely sensible idea. Unfortunately, there are plenty of easy ways to do this, he says. So there's gold, silver, cryptocurrency, and cash. And that's where I pretty much stick. Gold, silver, cash myself. That's what I like to do. Everywhere I go, I spend cash. It's and it's pretty hard to imagine there's any downside for having direct access to some emergency savings. So, you know, I do have a trust bank account to cover bank expenses for being on the internet and First Amendment Radio. We do have that. I have a trustee treasurer that oversees those funds and pays, and the bills are paid and the monies are collected and put in that. But we don't keep more than a couple $1,000s in that bank account. Yeah. That's just for ongoing expenses. We wouldn't let it get up any higher than that. And I would advise the same thing for everybody else. If you have more than a couple $1,000s in the bank, just keep enough in your bank account to keep, maybe 30 days worth of or 90 days worth of expenses paid up. And keep the rest in other hard assets. Yeah, like gold and silver. And of course, you have to keep it secret and you have to keep it safe. But it's much safer where you can keep it secret than where the government's going to keep it secret for you. Now, if you have billions of dollars, you certainly aren't listening to this broadcast. So, and not only that, don't think the government, if you got billions and you're super rich, don't think that time isn't coming where they're going to go, you don't need billions of dollars, buddy. We're just canceling most of your money. We'll just put you on a spigot and you can spend anything and anything you want within reason, of course. Some things that even rich people don't need. Those Learjets, they're all going away too. So these rich people that have billions upon billions of dollars, they don't think they have anything to worry about. And they don't perhaps in this life because money does answer all things temporal, but it answers nothing eternal. That's right. And it is corrupting, and it is the deceitfulness of riches is a real thing. If you have riches, you have to really make sure that you're not falling for the deceitfulness of riches, because there is power in money, and it's a very corrupting power for the soul of man. Anyway, I heard a tone. We're going for another break. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on satellite, internet, or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Arthur, and I'd like to introduce you to my latest book, Reformed Prophecy Interpretation, an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism in the 21st century. As with primitive biblical Christianity, historicism is the method of prophecy interpretation restored with the advent of the Protestant Reformation, and had become so widely held that for a long time it was called the Protestant view. My book is not so much about the errors of dispensationalism or amillennialism, Rather, it is about the historicist alternative to understanding many of the same passages from the vantage point of prophecy fulfilled in history. For those that desire more than mere hypotheses, bolstered with conjectured speculation, those who require explicit biblical exegesis and verified historical fulfillment, and are not willing to accept speculation as anything other than what it is. Speculation, not truth. This book is for you. Over the last century, this method of interpretation has become almost completely forgotten, even by Protestants, in the face of a method that is based almost entirely on future speculation, rather than fulfilled prophecy in history. In my book, I examine the reasons for this and investigate some of the prophecy which has been fulfilled in the interim, as well as present an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism to the 21st century. If you're interested in a copy of my book, you can go to my website, crosstheborder.org, and get more information there. Or you may also find it at Amazon. We're back. Okay, let's see what's on the lighter side. From Babylon Bee, 10 signs you're a dangerous Christian nationalist. And, yes, I began to comment on Christian nationalism and the person that believed that instead of a millennium, that they're going to use this thing to deceive people, and the Antichrist is going to deceive people. And I wrote a book about that, and the book is called, what was the name of that book? When the Third Temple is Built. And I wrote a new edition of that. It's called The Abraham Accord. And I'm giving that one away for free. Let's see if anyone wants it. Oh, this is it here, The Abraham Accord. And this is a PDF copy. And I'm going to put it in the 3 chat rooms that I'm looking at here. Oops. In the Rumble chat room. There's nobody in the Rumble chat room. Where's all my Rumble listeners? They're all just listening, I guess. I hope. If they did, have you all fell asleep over there on Rumble? Because I see there's people listening. Okay. But so anyway, check it out. And put it in all the chat rooms here. This is the Abraham Accord. And, whoops, try that again. And then empty. Yeah, it's a PDF. So share it with everybody on your list. Share it on your social media. Yeah, it's fine. It's out there. It's in the universe. Occasionally someone buys this book off of Amazon or Lulu, but it's out there floating around in the PDF world for free. But there's a scenario in this book. Let me scroll down here. There's a lot in this book. It's pretty jam-packed, but it's about, well, it's a harbinger. It says harbinger of the Temple Mount play about to begin, because that's what the Abraham Accord is. They're going to build some kind of temple or national synagogue on the Temple Mount. But I talk about that, the Abraham Accord, the 7-year tribulation, deception, and I do my best to overthrow it there. And then I have a scenario where, let's see, where there's a play. They play it out and they pull off this great deception. Because a lot of people think that the Antichrist is going to go into the Jewish temple and show that he's God. But no, he's not. He's not going to go in there. The whole thing is to play out the false prophecy, to prove it's false, for one, because, well, they know it's false because they invented it, and that is the 3 tribulation prophecy, pre, mid, and post. Because when they start building the temple, over there. The first rapture, the pre-tribulation rapture, is not going to happen. And so people wait a few months, a year, and they'll go, okay, well, it must be mid-tribulation. And then that's not going to happen either, because none of them are going to happen. The resurrection is not going to happen on the rapture timeline schedule. Yeah, of a made-up prophecy, right? It's not going to happen. And so they'll go 3.5 years, and that doesn't happen. They'll go 3.5 more years, and the post-tribulation rapture is not going to happen either. Yeah, that's the one. It's not going to happen either. None of them are going to happen. That's where I stand. And then the Antichrist is going to say, see, we were right all along. All of you Protestant evangelicals out there, you believed in this false prophecy, and you should have known all along that we were right. There is no millennium. We're amillennial. And the millenarian heresy of Christ coming back and setting up a kingdom on the earth was false. That's what they'll say. And people will go, well, gosh, I guess he must be right. Look, he didn't go in the temple and pretend to be God, so he can't be the Antichrist. As a matter of fact, nobody did that. Or maybe some kook will do that. I don't know. But it certainly won't be the true Antichrist who does it, because he's going to be sitting there going, yeah, you guys believed in false prophecy, so you can't trust the Bible, and you can't trust in that false prophecy stuff. Because remember, the Antichrist and his false prophecy, he believes he is above the Bible, and their church tradition trumps the Bible. Yeah, that's what they believe. And they're going to say, well, see, we were right all along. And so they're going to disprove the Bible by false prophecy. But so many people believe that it is true prophecy that they're going to wonder and go, I guess the Bible isn't right. We have to listen to this guy. Because look, he was right about this being wrong. It is a millenarian heresy. If you don't believe me, look up millenarian heresy. And it will lead you straight to the Catholic Church. Because they started pushing this amillennial stuff long, long time ago. That's right. That Jesus is not coming back to the earth. That they are going to bring the kingdom of God on earth. That Christ's vicar, the false prophet, is going to, and his great church is going to bring the kingdom of God on earth. That's what they say. So they're kind of post-millennial. Only I don't know if they really believe Christ has ever, because I don't think they even believe in Christ, to tell you the truth. Yeah. So anyway, it's an interesting read. I hope you'll enjoy it. Yeah. But anyway, back to whoops. What is this? Go away. Oh. Yeah, 10 signs you're a dangerous Christian nationalist. Let's see, with the 2024 election year in full swing, the danger posed by Christian nationalists continues to grow exponentially each day, threatening to destroy democracy itself. Huh. Oh, let's try this. Oh. Hello? Hello? Okay, that phone is not supposed to ring. I don't know why I did, but I just hung it up. Okay, never mind. Oh, yes. The danger posed by Christian nationalists continues to grow exponentially. Right. There we go. Stop bothering me. The danger posed by Christian nationalists continues to grow exponentially each day, threatening to destroy democracy itself, knowing whether or not Why can't I say go to text? Oh, I see. That's how that works. Okay, well, I don't know how that works, but someone's trying to call me on my text now number. Please text me. I can't answer that phone. But, no. If you want to call me, you have to call me on the call line at FirstAmendmentRadio.net, but not really asking for calls at this time. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Keep getting interrupted. Here we go. Okay. The danger posed by Christian nationalists continues to grow exponentially each day, threatening to destroy democracy itself. Knowing whether or not you harbor dangerous, deep-seated Christian nationalist tendencies may just save the entire world. The Babylon Bee has compiled the following list of common signs you may, in fact, be a Christian nationalist. So, 1, you're a Christian. That's the biggest red flag of all. Okay, number 2, you have voted in an election. You think you're supposed to have a say in who leads the country. You maniac. Okay. Little insanity there, but 3, you're married to a person of the opposite sex, so there's no telling what horrible things you might do. 4, you are currently in possession of an American flag. Only a truly hateful person displays such frightening imagery. 5, you agree with the idea of building a society on principles like do not steal, do not lie, and do not murder. Haven't you ever heard of the separation of church and state? 6, you let someone wearing a MAGA hat walk by you without punching them in the face, disturbing evidence that you agree with Nazis. 7, you pay for merchandise at Target instead of just running out of the door. It's probably because you think you're better than everyone else, a classic symptom of Christian nationalism. 8, you won't let your 3rd grader join the after-school Satan Club. Refusing to let your children hang out with the Prince of Darkness is a clear sign that you're a bigot. 9, you face Mar-a-Lago 5 times a day and pray to Donald Trump. All Christian nationalists do this. 10, you own a Bible. Even more dangerously, it's a King James Version. Very interesting. Very funny list of things there. Babylon Bee gave us there. Okay, well, let's see what else the Babylon Bee has got, since I feel like laughing a little bit more. Anybody got any good jokes out there? Put them in the chat room. Yeah. Okay, next. Okay. A horrifying study finds more trans people have pretend died under DeSantis than any other governor in history. Yes. I think this is supposed to be a real photograph of protesters. Ron DeSantis killed me. Oh, poor trans people. They pretend die daily. Like Christian nationalists. Yeah. We are called to die daily to ourselves. Let's see. Okay, what else we got here from San Franciscans loot slightly more than usual following Super Bowl loss. Okay, yeah, I guess that could be funny. Biden says he's looking forward to a great Super Bowl tonight. Okay. I don't know. I don't watch the stupid bowl. I'm not even interested, never been interested in men in tights carrying a little ball down the field and earning millions of dollars for doing it. It's mind baffling, but hey, the king of darkness likes it, so he funds it. Okay, let's go. Let's see what else we got here. Kamala, how do you say it? I'll just say Kamala, like I always have. Kamala, seen practicing her presidential cackle. Yes, indeed. The Kamala cackle. Something you do not want to imitate. See. 1, 2, Elmo's coming for you. Elmo sings softly as terrified Larry David attempts to flee home. I don't get it, but maybe someone else out there can explain it to me. All right, well, that's our Babylon Bee, our dose of Babylon Bee for the... Oh, no, I have another one up here. That's right, I missed a day. So just in case I get tired of talking about news, I have a whole other Babylon Bee tab here. Let's see, what else we got? Look at some headlines here. See, Tucker slayed the mainstream media dragon. Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed what he did, and I enjoyed what he's doing there. I'm glad he's there, because he's helping to tear down at least the narrative partially. I hope he can do more. But anyway, that's from Ron Paul, a commentary there, and pretty much guess what Ron Paul is going to say, so we won't go there. I love Ron Paul, and I wish he could have been president for 12 years. Yeah. And, I was thinking about that. President Trump, they say he can only run one more term because 2 terms is the limit. But I don't think that's what the Constitution says. I think the Constitution says no more than 10 years. Okay? Consecutively. No more than 10 consecutive years. I think that's what it says. And so I think if it's not consecutive, that he can run 4 and then 8. Because none of that reaches more than 10. At least that's my thinking on it. Let me know what you guys think next time. But I guess I need to pull out the Constitution and read it. But that seemed to be the impression that I have in my mind. Speaking of, could Trump run for 2 more terms, and it would be less than 10 years. So, but in that case, Obama could run again. Oh no, we can't have that. Of course, Obama doesn't need to run again. He has never left Washington, D.C. As a matter of fact, I think he is the president right now. And he was behind the scenes sabotaging everything when Trump was in. So basically, Obama never left the White House or Washington, D.C. Says, I believe he's still running the country. I believe that has been confirmed by Biden himself. Okay, let's see what else we got. Casual communism for kids. Send them to public school. Yeah. Well, everybody's practicing casual communism. And you're all socialists, carrying your socialist security cards, aren't you? You're all card-carrying socialists. You are. Come on. You can't deny it. Really. Seriously. Because I know when they start means testing Social Security, they're not going to come to me and ask me how much money I make and whether I qualify or not, because I'm not collecting it. And I don't plan on collecting it. See, because I have this, maybe I'm just not all there or something, because I have this idea that God is going to take care of me, It's like, where did I get that crazy idea? Oh, wait a minute. He has been taking care of me, so I think he will continue to. And if he doesn't, I'm still not going to go out and join the theft club. Yeah. And participate in something that I find repugnant, that violates my conscience. Yeah, seriously. So if you get out of it, you should. And or at least work on a plan, because it looks like they're going to defund you anyway, because it's going broke. You are going to have to sell your soul if you haven't already. You will have to when the time comes, because if you want to get welfare from the state when they try to roll out CBDC. Some people want it just for the free money, because there's going to be a reward for CBDC when they try to implement it. But like I said, they don't care what the law says. CBDC right now, to be enforced on the individual, is against the law. Yes, they can do it to businesses. Anyone who receives any benefit from the United States. Okay. Yes, I just got a message from the missed call number. Yes, they said the N-word. Ooh. So, let's see. What will I do? I'll just have to make sure that, yeah. Some people need to grow up. Yeah. Okay, so communism, socialism. Okay, 10 things you can do when you're just too busy to prep. That might be interesting. To prep. 10 things you can do. Oh, okay, I'll bite. Let's see what we can do if you're too busy to prep. We all try to seek a balance in our lives, but there are times when things just get a little bit out of control. Maybe you have a new baby. Oh, maybe there's something major going on at work. Maybe you have a sick family member or a home project going on. The kids are involved. Something requires a lot of driving on your part. Maybe you're injured. The point is, sometimes situations arise in which we're too busy to prep in the way that we usually do. When this happens, you already have elevated stress level. Oh, God, I don't know if they were talking, what kind of prepping they were talking about. Sometimes it isn't even that you're busy. Sometimes your motivation just takes a beating because there are so many negative, stressful things going on in the world. When this happens, you just don't feel like activity focusing on preparedness all the time. During times like these, the best thing you do is focus on fitting in small tasks when you can, to try to do one more thing per day to keep your prepper mojo going. Most of all, try not to worry about things that you aren't doing. You'll get there. I have faith in you. Carry a book with you at all times. A Kindle e-reader device might be handier in this situation than physical copy. And if you're a member of Amazon, you can often borrow books that you want for about $12 a month. Take those moments when you're sitting in a car waiting to pick up somebody or on a break to read. Yeah. So, and learn something. Anything that will make you more prepared. Good idea. Also, if you don't have an e-reader, don't despair. You can add a Kindle app to your phone or tablet, or use that to read your ebooks, or you can read real books too, like prepper books that you might want to resort to if there comes a time when you have a need. And apparently, they seem to be willing to break down America right now. They're talking about all these illegals that are coming in. They're going to attack our electrical grid. I mean, look what they're doing over in the Ukraine, you know. Anything could happen. Yeah. Let's see. Take those little moments to work on skills. In those same short breaks, as I mentioned above, work on a skill that would be a handy post-disaster. Take your knitting with you, or do some kind of small portable task. Okay, add a little to your stockpile each week. Hopefully before life got crazy, you had a good handle on the weak points in your stockpile. So if you know what you need, that you need fruits and vegetables, for example, pick up some shelf-stable items. And if you need dry milk, meat, buy some canned fish. Make a purchase each week and you'll be increasing your stockpile. But always remember to use from your stockpile the oldest stuff first. Yeah. That means you don't want, 5 and 10-year-old canned goods sitting there going, I don't know. I don't even think I want to use The only time I'm going to use those is in an emergency because I have to. And then I might be afraid. Yeah. Make your downtime count. Keep your prepper mindset sharp by using it often. If you're taking a couple hours to sit down with the family and watch a movie, watch something that will let you think through a scenario. Here's a list of survival-themed movies. Grab some popcorn. So this is on Lou Rockwell, this article, if you're interested in it. Anyway, to have a prepper mindset and always be putting away a little bit of silver coin or something that you can trade, beans, bullets, Bibles, salt, all of these things can be money that can be traded. Even, batteries. I just think about what people would want if the stuff hit the fan. Alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, yeah. Battery backup systems, some kind of alternate fuel system to get alternate fuel. Hold on. Your name and where you're calling from. You're on the air. Oh, I guess I scared him with that on the air part. Must be too scared to go on the air. We don't want to frighten people, so it's okay. Just calm down. You'll be all right. I'm going into a break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Let's see. There it is.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on satellite, internet, or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a reestablished Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
All right, I'm back. Let's see. What do we got? What is Revelation 17, 10, and 11 speaking of? I have a question in the chat room. That's from, I believe that's Shauna in the chat room over there. Let's see. Caller ID and call block would help. Yeah, I have on my my other phone. I do have a caller ID, of course, on the text thing. So I do have that. So it might be my phantom caller. I finally got his phone number. On the other phone, I don't have any caller ID, or it doesn't work, one or the other. But anyway, I'm going to look at this reference 17, 10, and 11. What is Revelation 17, 10, and 11 speaking of? And since I should know the answer to just about any question you can ask in Revelation, I should take a look at that. Of course, I know pretty sure what I know what that's about. Because, let's see, got our King James Version here. As you can see, I have that part highlighted even in my eSword. So, 10 and 11. Okay, and there... Oh, and here's a mind that hath wisdom. 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Yeah. So, and there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen and 1 is. Okay, so now we see a time context here. And so we have to ask ourselves, well, what year was John writing this? And the answer is about 95 A.D., just before Domitian died, and he was released from his Patmos prison. So there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is. Okay? So the 1 is would be Rome, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So what are these 7 kings that 5 are fallen and 1 is? What are they representative of? Well, the answer is in the next verse, because it says in verse 11, it says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. So right there it identifies these as beast powers. Okay? So the 7 kings are 7 beast powers. So 5 are fallen, 1 is, that's number 6, and 1 is yet to come, that would be number 7. So the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th. So the one that comes after the 7th is also the one before the 7th. Because I've heard people say that the 7th and the 8th are the same one, or the 6th, 7th, and 8th are all Rome. Well, then why are they enumerated separately? But it does say that the last one, the 8th, is one of the 7, So really there are only 7th, except there's a 7th one that shows up, and then there's one that reasserts itself after the 7th. So it becomes 8, meaning it disappears for a while. Kind of like Trump went away, and he's going to come back. Okay? So Trump was the 47th, I believe, is it? And Biden was the 48th, and Trump will be the 49th. Kind of like that. If you want to draw an illustration. But of course, I believe that Rome is the 6th, and of course, I believe America is the 7th beast power. And we learn more about that in Revelation chapter 13. Okay? And also an article we have on that, which everyone should find this article interesting. And this is an article we have at horeapocalypticae.wordpress.com. If we go to, let's see, volume 3, there it is. Go to volume 3, and you scroll down to chapter 9. Chapter 9, Rise of the Two-Horned Earth Beast. And I'll put this link in these chat rooms too, and just in case anyone wants to read this. But everyone should read this, and you'll understand more than you understood before you read it. And it should make a lot of sense to you. Okay? And this is from the 20th century edition. Oh, okay. No, not there. Here's the chat room. Losing my place here. Send that and put it in the other chat room where nobody is chatting, but anyone can go there and then look at it. But this gives you the lowdown on the question there, Shauna, that you asked about Revelation 17, 10, and 11. Okay, so anyway, there's that, the rise of the two-horned earth beast, which is the 7th. And the way I put it in this article here is, let's see. Okay. Anyway, you'll have to read the article. And because it has to be, because the earth beast, the two-horned earth beast in Revelation 13 is the only other mention of an additional beast power in the Revelation. So it has to be the 7th that's enumerated in chapter 19. Okay? I hope that makes sense. But it'll make more sense if you read that article there that I just referenced. Okay, where was I now? I forgot. All right, we have a few minutes left. Comments, any more questions would be nice. I hope that explains everything for everybody. But anyway, let's see. Sorry you can't have your gold. You don't want to hear that. And I know a lot of people make the mistake of buying gold and silver and keeping it somewhere else, where somebody else has your gold when you need it the most. Say the proverbial stuff hits the fan. What makes you think you're going to get your gold out of some vault somewhere in another town or country even? Yeah. Name and where you're calling from? Yes, still too afraid to talk. Somebody. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, this public, we warn regularly of the risk involving storing wealth in banks. Already did a little bit of that earlier. They've made the removal of your deposits increasingly difficult, in addition to colluding with governments to allow them to legally freeze or confiscate your money. Try getting your money out of a bank. Well, try it now while you can, rather than waiting for when you can't. Because if they say, oh, we don't have that much cash on hand, In the future, you will not be able to get your money out of the bank. They hate giving you your money. Or no, we have to order cash. Yeah. You're going to have to wait till we're going to order some cash for you if you want your, and then the government's they're going to know that you have cash, and they're going to be watching you for illegal activity. So, yeah. Let's see. In addition to colluding with governments to allow them to legally freeze or confiscate your money, to add insult to injury, they're creating reporting requirements with regard to the contents of safe deposit boxes and restricting what can be stored in them, again, at risk of confiscation. So, yeah, it's not safe. The deposit boxes are not safe anymore. You may not get your stuff. They restrict what can be stored in them, and you'll have to find another method of storing your stuff. More and more banks are becoming one of the more risky places to store wealth in any form. Not surprising then that many people are returning to those facilities that treat wealth storage the way the first banks did millennia ago. Vault facilities that store your wealth for a fee, but engage in no other banking activities. But in suggesting to our readers that such facilities are better bet, I also repeatedly warned readers that many such facilities don't store actual physical gold. They instead provide a contract to you that states that they will deliver an agreed upon amount of gold upon demand. The trouble with this idea is that it becomes tempting for such facilities to sign such a contract with you and collect the purchase price, but never actually purchase and store any gold. It's been estimated that the total worldwide value of such contracts equal 150 times the amount of gold in existence in the world. That's what's keeping the price of gold down from its true value. This 150 times the amount of gold that people think they have out there that is being stored for them, but is not. Somebody's telling the truth here. And that's how they're keeping the price of gold and silver down, because they count this as gold and inflate just the same way they inflate money. They're inflating the gold. There's 150 times amount of gold in existence that people have contracts for than there actually is in existence in the world. Wow. No wonder gold is undervalued so much. But this balloon has to bust sometime. And when it busts, wow. It just ain't busted yet. Say, uh-oh. That is why it's imperative that you purchase only physical, allocated gold. And another caution, I've repeatedly stated, he says, although many of the more secure facilities in the world are located in North America and Europe, these jurisdictions are on the cusp of economic crisis, a fact that suggests that, if and when the crisis arrives, the rule book will be thrown out the window. Governments and facilities alike may prove untrustworthy, and at some point, you may drop by the facility to withdraw your gold and be told, sorry, we're unable to provide delivery. There could be a multitude of reasons given, hoops to jump through, and endless red tape to deal with, and still, in the end, you may never be able to take delivery. It is for these reasons that we advise that although nothing in life is guaranteed, you should always protect your wealth by choosing the least risky option. Yes, indeed. Oh, okay, this is Fire Mike. I just now tried to call twice. First time I got a recording that the magic was not available, and call you hung up, but I understand why. Oh. Okay, well, yeah. I don't know why that it would say it's unavailable, but it's obviously available because I was answering it. But if you have a question, you can ask me in the chat room or text me, or you can try calling in again, Mike. But yeah, I still have time. I will definitely take the call. Strange things happening. Let's see. So, it's for these reasons that we advise that although nothing in life is guaranteed, you should always protect your wealth by choosing the least risky option. All right. Is this Mike?
Yeah.
Hey, there we are. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I've gotten that message before. It's strange.
Huh.
The Magic Jack customer you're trying to reach is not available, whatever that means.
Well, I have a Magic Jack phone device.
Oh, okay.
It's an internet phone, but...
All right. Well, my question is a little bit off topic, but it's something I've been meaning to ask you for a while, and I keep forgetting. It's a little off topic. I mean, as far as the rise and fall of, certain powers, what if maybe you don't want to address this right now, and that'll be all right too. But what are your thoughts on Joan of Arc? I've always been a big fan of Joan of Arc, but
well, that is off the wall.
Who was she really talking to? Angels or demons? I just don't know.
Well, I'd have to do some research into that. I just can't answer that one off the cuff because I've never really looked into Joan of Arc too much.
Nicholas,
yeah,
breaking up really, really badly. I'm gonna hang up.
Okay.
Maybe you can give me an answer on the audibly on the video there. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, that's fine. Do you have Skype by any chance?
You're breaking up really bad.
Okay. Well, I'll ask it off the air. All right. I'll deal with it.
I'll hang up and listen to what you have to say about Joan of Arc. Okay.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the question, Mike, but I've read some stuff on Joan of Arc, but I can't quite remember. I'll just be honest. I'd have to look into it again before I could authoritatively say anything about Joan of Arc. So I'll put it that way. As far as taking calls, I should probably just not take calls anymore unless I take them on Skype, because I know I can get Skype in clearly. I can even put your face on the screen, and I'm actually set up for it because I have this window here, see, where I go in one window and whoever's on Skype goes in the other window. So I am ready to take Skype calls if anyone, like I said, wants to be my guest, and my Skype is Nicholas Arthur, just NICKLASARTHUR. So I'm willing to take calls anytime on Skype. It'll be clear. I will know who you are, and you know who I am. And it won't be just some guy like this guy who texted me from 614-779-3009 something. Okay? You know who you are. I didn't give out the last number. But, I have your number now. I know who you are. And I'm not really offended by your use of the N-word, because I don't know what it has to do with me. I'm not even black. And if I was, it wouldn't let it bother me either, because I know what the word means. It means black. I don't know what everybody's all upset about. You got a word that means black, and black people are offended if white people use it, but they can use it for each other. Yeah. So that's the new woke world we're living in, where some people can't say some words, like black people can't say ask, right? They try. I think it comes out axe. Something like that. That's supposed to be a joke anyway. I hope nobody's offended. Okay, so anyway, I will let me write down Joan of Arc so I don't forget about her, and just for my own curiosity. Joan of Arc. And now I have a note here. my show notes. Let's see. Jesuit Fiend says, you're being harassed now. End of mankind. The genetic modification of mankind continues. Okay, well, yeah. Doesn't really bother me, you know. I hope the person who's trying to harass me is, well, obviously he needs to hear what I have to say. Otherwise, they could go bother someone else who would really care. Because frankly, I just don't, you know, give a rat's behind. There you go. Make me pray for you. Just make me pray for you. Okay, let's see what we were reading something here. I wonder if that's my daughter coming in, or strangers, or maybe a coyote across the street. We have coyotes out here, and the dogs do like to bark at the coyotes. I'm curious. No big deal. Nothing going on. It's my youngest daughter getting home. Let's see. It's just odd. Her friend shining the light right at the studio here. It's a little strange, but stuff happens. Okay, well, I am running out of time quickly. I forgot what I was reading. Oh, yes, about choosing the least risky option of protecting your wealth. This means you should follow two simple rules. Rule 1, select the jurisdiction with the best laws and reputation. Rule 2, make sure there is a reputable storage facility in the jurisdiction that has Class 3 vault and a contract that meets your needs. And I just, you know, like I said, if the stuff hits the fan, it's likely if you have your stuff, the stuff you're going to need, you know, money, barter to trade with, and it's not, you're not going to be able to get it if it's not at hand. So you just have to make sure it's at hand and that nobody knows about it except maybe you and your significant other, you know, or someone you would trust with your own life that would trust you with their own life or something. But there are ways, but there are a lot of evil people in the world. Anyway, he says, but I'm being overly cautious when I so frequently offer this advice. Yeah. So anyway, it's along the same line as what to do when the government comes for your gold, your silver, or CBDC becomes mandatory. There will be a black market. There's a black market now. And there will be a black market then that will be thriving and bigger than ever. And I will be part of it. Yeah. It's one thing I would add is home church. You know, start a Bible study in your home, or talk to some of your family members, or at least start with your own family, husband, wife, children, and start doing home church in your home every month, and then invite other families and build a small community in your own neighborhood if you can, and then share a lot of these ideas about being ready for the stuff to hit the fan. Make sure you have beans and bullets and some silver something to trade, rice and salt and beans. And I still think, as far as emergency food, I think the seed foods are the best. You can grow them and you can eat them. At least they're my favorite because, out of my store of beans, I always use my oldest beans. And when I break into my last 50-pound sack of beans, I go out and buy another one. Or when I get close to it. Or some things last longer, like those bean seeds will last longer than rice. If you can keep rice in a freezer, it will last a lot longer, but rice will spoil quicker than beans. So you have to learn a lot of these things. Okay, that was my tone. So I think I have just run out of time. I thank you all for showing up today. And if you're watching this later on in the day or something, go ahead and text me. Leave me a message, ask me a question, and we'll pick it up here tomorrow night. Same time, same channel, Lord willing. May the Almighty bless you and keep you as you travel on the narrow way that leads to life. I'll see you next time. Secrets of the Rapture. Is there a 500-year-old conspiracy? A propaganda machine so pervasive and entrenched, yet so elusive that the entire world could be taken in by it, working in plain sight, but unseen by the world for what it truly is? If prophecy is God-given history in advance, why does the prophecy that has conquered the age also exclude nearly 2,000 years of history? What is it that they are afraid that the light of history will reveal? To understand our place and time in prophecy, we must look in history for an interpretation, that which stands the test of time, that which agrees with the Word of God, and history has proven to be true. When cunning fables and fearful speculations are removed from our sight, then we may clearly see what is truly expressed in Bible prophecy, both that which has been fulfilled and that which has yet to come. God's express word is the sword that must be wielded to remove the scales from the eyes and dispel the darkness of deceitful conjecture. Secrets of the Rapture was written to expose that which the spirit of the age has conjured out of the darkness to blind the eyes of the church in the world today. Secrets of the Rapture, Deconstructing Pre-Tribulation Dispensational Futurism by yours truly, Nicholas Arthur, is now available at lulu.com and Amazon. Secrets of the Rapture.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. An investigation continues into the mass shooting during Kansas City's Super Bowl parade.
Kansas City's Union Station is closed today following Wednesday's shooting at the Super Bowl parade that left 1 dead and at least 21 hurt. The station was used as a reunification.
Capitol Hill are worried about and what Democratic voters at home are worried about. Just this month, an NBC poll found that half of Democratic voters do have concerns about President Biden's mental and physical health.
Fox News reports Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis took the stand to testify against allegations she had an improper affair with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, which could derail her case against former President Donald Trump. Willis was quite combative at times.
Let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth, Judge. And it is a lie. It is a lie.
Willis also called one of the attorney's interests as contrary to democracy. During an appearance in Cleveland, West Virginia,